What's up, dude? Yo, you know what today is, dude? My dude. Yo, do you know what we're doing today, dude? Yo, do you know, dude, what we're doing today, bro? We're gonna be putting the freaking gauges in. I know, bro. I'm so excited too, you know? What up, everybody? It's Buddy here, and welcome back to another video. Today, super exciting video because we're gonna be installing our Innovate wideband boost controller gauge, as well as AFR and boost PSI gauge. Kind of a huge mess over here. Please don't blame me. I was literally up until like 4 in the morning trying to figure all of this shit out because I came home yesterday from work. I was super tired. I passed out, and then I was up all night pretty much. So while I was doing that, I made last video. I was able to edit it and release it for you guys. So thank you so much for all your feedback on the last video. Always appreciate your guys' love. We're freaking done pretty much. We're done with the engine build. All we have to do right now is install our gauges and then finish up our transmission gasket, little front cover gasket that I'm waiting on, do the pilot bearing, slap them together, put the engine in, and yeah. So today, while I'm waiting for those gaskets to get here, we're gonna be working on our oil pressure gauge, our Phantom oil pressure gauge right there from Z1 Motorsports, and then we have our Innovate boost controller, also boost gauge, also AFR gauge. So that's cool. Also, it's kind of like cool features like a shift light and things like that too. So super stoked on that. Went over to Advanced Auto Parts and Home Depot. I picked up a couple cool things. Of course, I got some wiring because I'm gonna need to be wiring all these gauges and everything like that. It's freaking crazy. Got all these connectors. I'm gonna have to tap into the ECU, and got myself a nice little wire splice kit with some crimp grounds and things like that. So we're good as far as our wiring. Just look at her, guys, in all her glory, all complete over here with her turbos and everything. I'm so nervous, but I'm super excited, super stoked to get this thing finally running again. I remember the whole build process of just getting it NA. Like, this is such another level of things that I've never done before, so it's really cool filming the whole process, having you guys come along. If this is your first time watching this channel, my name's Aaron. I work on my G35. I spend way too much fucking money on it so that you don't have to. Learn from my mistakes, and that's pretty much what I do. If you guys enjoy G35 content, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. Follow along for the little adventure that we're doing on the G build. So it's kind of a mess in here right now. Got to clean up the paint, of course. It's super dirty from when we took it drifting and all that good stuff. So I'm probably going to be cleaning up that engine bay probably real soon, in a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys where I'm going to be setting up our gauges and everything. So as you guys can see right there on the radio, pretty much I want to mount them right above the radio, right where that little console is. On some G35s, they do have the navigation package, and it would have an LCD screen in there, but on models like this, it just has a little cubby. So I removed the lid that goes there and opens up and everything like that. Just removed that, took it off, and now I'm going to fabricate sort of like an aluminum kind of, I guess, base to lay down so I can drill this gauge pod into it, and then we're going to run all of our wires back through there. So right over here we're gonna have our oil pressure gauge, and then over here is gonna be our other gauge with all the goodies on it. So I think it's a super clean look. It goes like with the gauge display of the cluster and everything right there. It goes, you know, pretty much right along with it, and it's not obstructing the view like some people do the A-pillar mount, which I literally almost ordered like a 3-pod A-pillar mount. I was gonna do that, but it's not like my truck where there's so much room. Like, it's kind of compact in there, and I want to be able to see the road a little bit easier. So I'm gonna go with that center mount for now. And it was a lot cheaper. I bought that little gauge pod for like $12 on eBay. So yeah, eBay for the win. So before I start setting up my gauges and everything, I have to wire the pretty much the boost gauge solenoid right here, map sensor over here somewhere, maybe even towards the back, because I do have to tap into a vacuum that's going to be like right here by the throttle body. So that'll make it a little bit easier to do that right there. And then I'll probably just run all the wires. Maybe this is a nice hole I can probably use to mount it there. We'll see. I'm probably going to run all the wires up and through the cowl so that I can run them back down and through the grommet to go inside of the car. And then we'll figure out where to go from there pretty much. So that's pretty much the plan. It's not going to be too hard. As far as the oil pressure gauge, that gauge is on the engine right now, and so once I put the engine in, I'll pretty much be able to wire that. But I do want to wire most of it, you know, today. This way I don't have to do too much when I'm putting the engine in, because it'll be a little bit harder to route. Nah, I ain't doing nothing, bro. Nothing's going on over here, bro. Damn, yo, alright, I guess because you're repping the DoubleASupply, then I'll probably tell you what's going on.
I got to, bro. I already know there's something going on.
You already know, bro. We're about to set up the gauges.
Yeah.
About to get all the wiring in right now.
What's going on?
What's good? What's up?
Chilling, brother, chilling.
Alright, guys, enough fucking around. Let's get to work. guys, so now we got the engine bay all cleaned of all the dust and debris that was in there from last time we took it out drifting. So it's nice and clean now. Now we're gonna go ahead and start pretty much hooking up the gauge cluster mount, pretty much. So right here is where we want to put our gauges. I have to make some sort of aluminum plating right here that kind of just has the gauge pods sit into it, screw into it. And yeah, so we're gonna get started. We're gonna use some cardboard to measure pretty much the diameter that we want to cut out of the sheet metal, and then we're gonna go ahead and start cutting the sheet metal. Let's go ahead and do it. Got our nice cardboard template right here. So pretty much want it to lay in there like that. Obviously we're gonna have to start trimming probably closer to the side here. Right there. Pretty much want to have it sit in there like that. That's pretty much the size, maybe just a little bit off of the sides, but I'll be able to trim the aluminum piece once I have it pretty much that same size. I'm gonna want that back of the aluminum piece to be bent up like that so I can kind of bolt it in here. So I'm gonna screw it into the dash right here. This way that gets held in place, and then I'll be able to, there's little bolts, screw holes or whatever right here inside of the gauge pod that I'll be able to drill into the sheet metal like that, and have it sit just like that pretty much. Test fit. Oh shit. Gotta adjust it a little bit. Alright guys, check it out. So this right here is pretty much the layout that we're gonna be going with as far as our gauge pod. Our gauge pod is gonna sit right on top of this nice little sheet metal. Pretty much what I gotta do in order to run the cables, I gotta drill some holes here. So that the gauge wires can go through there and pretty much run them along the car and where they need to go. But I'm pretty excited with the way that it looks right now. It's pretty clean. I mean, back there the way it's like kind of rippling is not too clean, but I did find an area where I can put a screw to hold it in place right here, and then I'm gonna figure out how I can kind of keep it down right here. So we're gonna figure it out. It's not like too hard to mount these things, probably a little bracket on the side or maybe underneath. I'm gonna figure it out, but it looks like I gotta do a little bit more trimming right up here up front, just because it is starting to kind of just stick out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off this little edging right here, and we should be good. Good old Florida wants to rain on me when I wanted to do the only thing that I need to do outside on the car. Unfortunately, it's kind of a pain in the ass to pull it up in here in the garage. So I'm just gonna wait. It'll take like 5 minutes for the rain to go away. While we do that, just wanted to show you guys. Taking a look over here, we got everything pretty much all set as far as our plate. We got everything trimmed down. We got everything drilled. We got our holes drilled. I got some hose that I'm gonna be putting on here so that the wires aren't really touching some super rough metal. It's really not too rough. I went ahead and sanded everything down so everything's kind of safe to the touch. All the holes are drilled to mount the gauge pod and also to mount this bracket inside of the center console. So we're gonna go ahead and paint it right now just so everything is nice and clean, and then we're gonna go ahead and install it. Check it out, guys. So now I got our little bezel here, or our mounting bracket. That is nice, and I just let it bake in the light right there. But it's nice and cured as far as the paint. Everything's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put some rubber hose in there, and then we're gonna go ahead and set it up in the car. I just realized we literally have to wire everything before we put that on there. So that's gonna be literally like the last step. So trying to make a hole in there, and we're gonna be feeding the wires through there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab gauges. I've already set up down there. You can see like a little test light. I have a fuse tap right here into one of the interior accessories, so that whenever the car turns on, the little lamp for the phantom oil pressure gauge lamp will pretty much illuminate whenever the car's on. So that's cool. I was gonna hook it up to like whenever the cluster turns on and things like that, but I want it to be on all the time. So we're gonna do it that way. Now that the rain calmed down a little bit, we got some time and a little bit of daylight left. It's getting a little dark. It's like 6:30 right now. So we're gonna try our best to knock knock out installing the boost controller, which I think right here would be a pretty good mounting spot. So I'm gonna try and figure out if I can get a bolt on the other side of there, get that thing mounted up, and then we're gonna start running the vacuum hoses. So first I'm gonna go ahead and set up the boost controller right there. We're gonna run the wires through the cowl. Let's go ahead and get started on that. Check it out, guys. So we have our Innovate Boost Solenoid installed. There couldn't have been a better spot for it, to be honest with you. That's literally like right out of the way. It's in a cooler spot of the engine because most of the heat is pretty much like down here in these areas. But yeah, I'm super stoked on it. We got the vacuum line coming down on the bottom of it, which they said in the manual you want to make sure the vacuum line is facing down. So I'm gonna have it come up pretty much into, this is where the fuel sits. This little solenoid sits right here. This vacuum line comes around and plugs into the plenum right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tee this off, and then we're gonna connect that vacuum line to it pretty much. I have the wires pretty much running right up into the cowl. We got the cowl removed, so we got all this space. I'm just gonna go ahead and zip tie them along while I run them here. And then over here we have the grommet for the main ECU harness. So I'm gonna go ahead and just slit a little like X into the grommet, and then we're gonna feed these wires through there. Once they make their way into the cabin, pretty much down there on the bottom of the passenger side, we're gonna run them alongside the underneath, pretty much like the glove box panel, into the center console here, so we'll be good. The third and final wire that I'm gonna have to route, probably gonna route it through the same area. It's gonna be my O2 sensor wire, or AFR gauge wire. It's not really an O2 sensor, but I'm pretty much deleting the O2 sensor that's in the after the cat, and I'm going to be adding the AFR sensor because it's pretty much like a good 20-24 inches away from the turbo, which is exactly what the boost gauge solenoid recommends you to weld a little bung there, but we already have one. I'm just going to delete the O2 and then replace it with the AFR sensor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the test pipe, and this is the brand new AFR sensor that came with the Innovate kit. So this is just going to be kind of dangling for now, and then I'm gonna go ahead and run the other wire that plugs directly into the gauge. Yo guys, it's the next day. It got super dark out last night, and I was just kind of like in a focused work mode, so I went in on pretty much wiring everything. It took me a while. I was up to like 1 in the morning, so I'm a little beat right now, but I want to show you guys what we did. So check it out. That is our boost solenoid, the Innovate Boost solenoid. We do have the map sensor pretty much mounted right below it. They said that they want this hose facing down, so that's perfect. We do have the bracket pretty much right there. There was like the perfect hole that I showed you guys earlier. All I had to do was put a 10mm nut on the back of it, and everything is super tight and in place. So yeah, we got that mounted up. All of our wires for the AFR gauge, the boost gauge, and the boost controller, they are ran underneath the cowl and pretty much over to where our main harness goes to the ECU, right to the little grommet. So I cut open the grommet, and then I put some RTV after I run those lines so that no water gets into the cabin, hopefully, because it's super rainy here in Florida. I was literally out here all night last night in the rain, just wiring this up. And honestly, I mean, I'm super proud of myself because I want to show you guys what the best part of this is, and that's the gauges on the inside. Every Nissan owner be like, check it out, guys. It looks so clean. This is like my first ever fabrication job. I'm super stoked on it. Kind of sticking up on this edge over here. I just gotta kind of set it in place a little bit, but you know. But no, guys, I'm super stoked on it. That plate that we made, we painted it black, so it kind of just blends in with the rest of everything. And this thing is like super in place. It's not going anywhere. There's so many wires that run behind it and underneath it. If you take a look, I'm gonna move this out the way. This is where all of our grounds went. I went ahead and hooked up 2 on this side and 1 on that side, because that's pretty much bolted to the chassis of the car, so that's plenty of ground right there, and it works just fine. All my power wires I ran underneath here, and I have a fuse tap that goes into one of the electronics on the interior fuses, so that whenever I power on the car, so do the gauges. Check this out. Ooh, guys, that looks so sick. I am super stoked. I don't know why it looks like that on camera, where it's just like super blinking, but it's not like that in person. You got our AFRs, O2, E2, PSI, and boost controller. I'm pretty sure you can peak, boost, wideband. Look at that, AFRs, altitude, composition, default offset, fuel type. Anyways, guys, it looks super clean. I am so stoked. I'm super proud of myself. It took forever because there's so many wires being run to the right, to the left, you know, to the ground, and just like kind of a clusterfuck behind this radio display and everything. But everything is cool, guys. Super stoked. Everything's pretty much ready to plug and play. Just, you know, put the engine in and get to it. For those of you out there who have a 350Z, you guys are actually pretty lucky because you guys get the oil pressure gauge already up on your like 3 little gauge pod thing that comes stock in the 350Zs, and unfortunately we don't. We just have a check engine light if we ever lose pressure, so we can't really monitor it. So that's what this is for. I'm gonna be able to monitor it, and then I'll be able to check everything else out with this that I need, and should be good. It's already starting to freaking rain. I just got up. I want to make a video and I can't because it's freaking raining. One thing about living in Florida though is I'm already fucking used to it, so I'll be out here in the rain working on the car anyway because I'm stubborn like that. Okay, yeah, sometimes I'm willing to work on the car in the rain, but not when it's fucking hurricane outside. Come on, man. Come on. Fucking wake up early. Let's work on the car today. Yeah, great idea. Anyway, guys, so I have some heat wrap that I'm gonna be putting around pretty much our fuel lines right there. So this is like the aluminum sort of like cloth or Kevlar weave that we're gonna be using to wrap up our fuel lines and things like that. Pretty interesting material. It's like super like soft on the inside, I guess like insulation, and on the outside it's got that reflective material to keep the heat away. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap all those up, and I got some more metal zip ties that I'm gonna use to get that wrapped up. So fuel line's gotta be wrapped up. There's a part of the harness that has to be wrapped up as well. I'm not too sure what portion it is yet. I'm probably gonna have to wait till I get the engine in, and then I'll be able to figure out which, parts of the harness are closer to the hot side of the turbos, and then we'll go from there. So while it rains on me, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap these up, and yeah, you guys are gonna see that in just in a second. Check it out, guys. So we are prepared for boost here in our engine bay. We got our fuel regulator right here with the fuel line going down. I was able to heat wrap all of the fuel lines that go down pretty much into the subframe right there, so that's nice and safe. I also installed pretty much the rest of our fuel return kit from CJ Motorsports. We got our AN fitting here that's gonna go right back to our fuel regulator, fuel pressure regulator right here from Aeromotive. That came with our CJM fuel return kit, and we got our line going down here, down into the jacket right there. So we're good, guys. I also set up the last vacuum as far as the map sensor right here. Once I put in the engine, then I'll be able to plug in these other 2 lines right here. So check it out. This is pretty much gonna sit like right up here to the left of the plenum, and this vacuum is gonna plug into the plenum, and then this is gonna go straight to the map sensor. I might do some adjusting with this long hose, but for now I'm gonna leave it the way it is. And yeah, guys, we're pretty much ready as far as fuel return and boost controller, AFR gauge, boost gauge, all that good stuff. This thing is ready to go. I also rerouted our power wire for the oil pressure gauge, so it comes right out right down here, and it gets run on the inside there, which I'm gonna zip tie up soon. Yeah, that's honestly perfect. This way it's not shown in the engine bay at all, and it goes directly where it needs to go. I do got the harness that's gonna get kind of close to the turbos, nice and wrapped. I got the metal zip ties, so that works perfectly. We got everything wrapped up. This is our starter wire right here, and this pretty much goes down to the transmission. So all right here is nice and heat wrapped so that it'll protect that from melting away and whatnot, because it's gonna get hot in here. It's gonna be a hot boy. I also wrapped this starter wire over here. They also recommend to go ahead and wrap the starter itself. Went ahead and wrapped up our starter, so that's gonna be nice and protected as well. Don't have to worry about that heating up or getting too hot. Last things I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up is like, some coolant hose right here. That's really close to the manifolds, so that doesn't get too hot, and we can cool the engine a little bit better. Might also go ahead and wrap up over here as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get started wrapping those up right now. Check it out, guys. So we got them all wrapped up. Everything is looking pretty good. Yeah, just wanted to keep those away from the heat. We also took care of this side over here. Got that nice heat wrap on there, so we're looking good, guys. Look at that sky though. Good old Florida sunset. Ah, yes. Sometimes it's just really good to just slow down and just take in the beauty of nature. Dude. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video right here. We got a lot done in this video. Didn't really get to film a whole bunch of it, but I at least got to show you guys the process and what I did exactly. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Got everything pretty much wrapped up as far as the hot side, the hot areas of the engine and the harness and whatnot. Even got the starter all wrapped up. I'm super stoked. This thing is like 100% ready now. I can't wait to go ahead and just put this thing in. One thing we are waiting on though is that transmission gasket, like I told you guys in the last video. You guys can see it's taken apart right now. I did take it apart, remove the gasket, and I cleaned it all up. We're still waiting on that gasket. Still on back order with no ETA from Nissan, and I just said fuck it, and I went ahead and ordered one on eBay, and I think they just shipped it today. So I'm hoping to have that sometime this week, and then I can finally put that in there, put the transmission onto the engine, and then finally put everything in the car. And what we're gonna be doing is hitting up Martin from RS Enthalpy. He's gonna be hooking us up with a base map tune, so we can kind of just get a feel, start the engine, do our first oil change and whatnot, drive it around, maybe send him a couple logs, see if he has to adjust anything. And he's pretty much just gonna kind of give us like like a rough tune pretty much until we bring it all the way up there for the dyno tune. So I'm super stoked. It's literally just a couple weeks away. Like next week we're putting it in the car. We're gonna be possibly driving it next week, and then the week after, as soon as I have it running, you know, all the little things are fixed, everything's good, making sure nothing's leaking. I have a feeling there might be a couple troubleshooting things, but I hope, fingers crossed, that most of it is on point. Huge fingers crossed that the timing is actually good on the engine, because we had some issues with that last time, but hopefully, you know, with the experience, we nailed it this time. So I'm hoping, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments about this whole build. This G35 is gonna scream. I don't know if you guys follow on Instagram Nitish21. He has a 650 wheel horsepower G35. Thing fucking screams, and it keeps up with literally anything. So it just seems super fun, and I can't wait. Can't wait to finally be bringing it out and be bringing some awesome content to you guys. So if you guys have loved this build so far and you guys can't wait to see what's coming for the future, please smash that like button. It always helps the videos get out there, and it'll also help me with making even better content for you guys. And if you guys want to go ahead and support the build, we do have some DoubleASupply merch on our website. Head over to DoubleASupply.com. You guys can pick up some cool G35 merch. Still thinking about some new ideas. Let me know if you guys have any ideas down in the description as far as down in the comments as far as merch. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.